Google Sheets is usually pretty intuitive, especially compared to Excel, but there are some things that are not intuitive at all, and one of those things is grouping pivot tables. So in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to do that. And there's different ways depending on what type you're trying to group. So for example, we have a pivot table right here, and what this pivot table is doing is it's grouping the region, and then the company size and finding the totals that fall into each category. Now let's say that there's a manager that works both the North and the East regions, and there's another manager that works the South and the West regions. So we want to create custom groups to group those together for the pivot table. A lot of people would add a helper column to the dataset, but it's easier than that. What we can do is we can click on both the different options, right click, create pivot group, and then we can rename this as manager 1. And then we can do the same thing for South and West. So we'll select South and then West, right click, create pivot group, and we'll put manager 2. So now we have a grouped region for manager 1, and we have both regions to the right, and we have the same for manager 2. But what's cool is we have the automatic summaries for everything in the full manager region with the breakdown. What's even better is that we don't actually need to have the region breakdown anymore since everything's grouped. So if we didn't want the region, we can simply click into it and then delete region. And now we can see everything based off of the manager instead of having the big breakdown as well. And if you wanted to, you can rename it as regional manager, for example. So it's a really good way to create different groups and be able to slice the data in a different way that's not native to the actual data itself. And if you decide later on that you want to ungroup the pivot table, you can ungroup it and it will default back to whatever the original data was. So that's pretty much how it works when it comes to text. But when it comes to dates, it's a little bit different depending on how many dates you have. So let's use my content planner, for example. I'm going to go ahead and select Insert, Pivot Table, and we'll go into a new sheet. Now let's say I want to see how many different videos I've posted for each type on each date. We can go to type and see exactly how many there are, but when I go to post delivery date in columns, we're going to get this error, and that's because there's too many different dates for us to have one per column. There's just too many for that. So the hack is to drop the delivery and post date under filters, clear everything, and select one day. And when you select one day, now you have enough room to execute, so you're good to go there. You can right click on that date and select create pivot date group. And now you can order by different types. So for example, if I want to see it broken up by year and quarter, I could do that. And now since it's grouped, we don't need to have this filter anymore. So I can exit out of the filter. Let's go ahead and make sure that we are getting rid of those blanks. So I'm going to filter by is not empty. And if that makes no sense, go and check out my pivot table video. So now I can see exactly how many were posted each quarter for each type. But you can also do it in different ways. So let's say instead of it being based off of the quarter, let's say we want to see what day of the week it was. I could select that, and I can see exactly which days of the week I tend to post the most. So Tuesdays and Wednesdays seem to be my highest post date, and a lot of that's coming from the long form video content. But depending on what you're trying to track, you can use a lot of these different grouping options super easily with just one click. And it's really as simple as that. So that's how to group your pivot table. If you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe. Let me know if you have any questions and like and comment for more.